Hey everybody, it's Shannon. I thought today I would do a video on palliative radiation, which is what I am currently going through to help the pain that's in my arm from the mets in my arm. So palliative radiation, its true focus is not necessarily to kill the cancer where it's different from breast cancer radiation. It's a lighter dose, and its whole purpose is to kind of make you feel better. And because bone mets hurt so badly with cancer, it's one of the best treatments you can have to knock out a lot of the pain, if not all of the pain. It's supposed to do better than narcotics. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, I thought I would tell you about how my palliative radiation has gone. The first thing I did was I met with my radiation oncologist, and he told me kind of like what the side effects would be. And in my case, and I think for palliative cases, because it's not a huge dose of radiation they're giving you, they're very mild and minimal, and I'll tell you about mine at the end. He told me kind of what to expect and just basically put me at ease about the whole thing, and it was just nice to get to know him. I meet with him once a week to go over how the treatments are going, if I'm having any side effects, anything like that. So that was kind of the first thing that I did. And then after that, they schedule you to have, or I got scheduled to have a CT scan, yes, another one, for planning purposes. So I went in, I had a CT scan, and that helped them when they were making the marks on my arm, and I'll show you that in just a sec. So after you have your CT scan for the planning, you go back again for more, like they call it mapping, where they map out where the radiation is going to go. So they have the CT scan up in the other room, and then they work to put you in a certain position to get the best possible doses. So the first thing they did was I went in, and they have like these bean bags, and like on the radiation looks like the machine and the little bed that you lie on looks just like one for a CT scan. So it's really, one of those really narrow ones. It's not like some big thing, it's really narrow. It's, hard plastic and all that kind of stuff. But they put this beanbag thing down on top of it, and you get on top of the beanbag, and they put you kind of where you need to be. So for me, my arm is out a little bit from, the rest of me, and, it faces a certain way and all this kind of stuff. And then once they get you, they're like, yep, okay, this is good. Then they start sucking the air out of the beanbag so it molds to you. And once they do that, that's your beanbag for the whole time that you're there. And so you just kind of slip into your little beanbag whenever it's time for treatments, and that kind of holds you in place. While they've got you in your molded beanbag, they make marks on you, and I only have 10 treatments, so they just did it with Sharpie, and they covered it up, and I'll show you. Like for me, like, isn't that funny? X marks the spot. Like that's where the radiation, I think, goes in. This is still the scar from my getting the rod put in my arm, so ignore that. It's lovely though, isn't it? Here is another mark that they use. And then I also have marks on, I've got like 3 marks that are on my upper abdomen that they use. So they put those marks on you. They put these little circle dots that do not come off. And I take like scalding hot showers, which yes, I know you're not supposed to, but that's what I like. So, and they still don't come off. If you have a longer course though, like I know my friend who's going through breast cancer treatment, she has like 25 of them to do, and they did tattoos on her because I would imagine that those little circle things aren't going to stay on for 6 weeks. So I think it depends on how long your treatments are as to whether or not you just have like Sharpies on you, Sharpie marks on you, or if they go ahead and they put, they do like little tattoos of the markings. Your treatments are every day. So today is my 4th treatment. So I started on Monday, and I've been every single day since Monday. I've had a treatment, and they're always the same. So if you're a person who doesn't like change, or change makes you anxious or something, after you've been through the first treatment, they're all exactly the same. So you don't have to be anxious after that. I mean, they all roll the same way. They try to do, like mine does it at the same time as well, every single day. And I have the same 2 radiology techs the same day, and I go in the same room every day. And you can tell who else is in that room because all of our bean bags are like lined up on like a clothing rack, which is kind of funny. So you walk in there and you see everybody's bean bag that's in there. I don't know who just has it in that room, which makes more sense because you wouldn't want to like cart those things around. You'd want them to just stay wherever they are. So, you know, that's the way my place does it. So the treatment, they line up the marks. Like you get in there and your beanbag will be, you know, that's been molded to you will be lying on the like little machine thing. So you climb on that, you kind of scoot yourself into your beanbag the way it's molded to you. And then the 2 techs will spend, sometimes it takes a pretty long time. Like in the beginning, it took a pretty long time, like 10 minutes maybe, of them like moving around, scooter towards you, move this way, put this arm over here, to get you in the exact right position because they want the radiation to go to the same place every single time. And they have a little bit of wiggle room, he said, but not a whole lot. So they really work on getting you exactly in the same position every single time you go in. And that has taken sometimes the longest, longer than my treatments have. But as it goes on, I kind of know where I'm supposed to be, and we kind of, I don't know, it's gotten a little quicker. So you'll get into your little bean bag again. They'll line you up exactly how they want you to be for radiation. And then, of course, they step out of the room and they go into their room, but they can still see you because there's cameras in the room and you can hear them, like they can talk to you and stuff like that, and you can talk to them. The radiation part of it only takes maybe 10 minutes. That part is very quick. So the treatment itself is quick. The machine is quite large. You keep your eyes open, all that kind of stuff. I mean, but nothing hurts. It's not a big deal. Yesterday I almost fell asleep, which was kind of funny. It was so nice, and like I had a warm blanket on me, and the lights were dim, and I don't know, I was almost asleep. God bless her. Melissa came in one of my texts and she's like, okay, it's time, we're finished. I was like, oh, I think I was taking a nap. So mine are quick, same thing each day. So for me, this has been one of the easiest treatments that I've had, has been the radiation. Of course, mine's just palliative though. Side effects. So I was warned that you might have a slight sunburn where the radiation is. I have not had that yet. They say sometimes you might experience some pain more than you did before. Every once in a while, I will say my flare-ups in my arm get a little worse. Like if I'm gonna have a flare-up, it's gonna be a little worse than it was before. And they say that's just from like the scarring and the scar tissue or something that it's doing in there that'll in the end make it feel better, but in the beginning, I guess just kind of causes a little bit more pain. But in general, I can kind of tell that it's beginning to work. It's not supposed to, you shouldn't be able to feel anything, they said, for at least a week, sometimes 2, and sometimes it's like a week or 2 after treatment has stopped because the radiation part will still continue in your body, which is kind of cool. So if you don't feel better right away, don't freak out. It's not that it's not working. The main side effect that I seem to get, and I get it with my chemo and I've gotten it with this radiation, is being tired. And I don't know if that's just me because I'm always like borderline anemic. And so I think I've been borderline anemic most of my life. So I think I just get tired quicker. So whenever they said, oh, you might feel a little tired, but usually it's cumulative. I kind of knew going into it. I was like, oh, I bet it's going to hit me. I'm going to be tired from like day one. And I am. I can leave my radiation appointment. I usually go and have lunch with a friend, whoever's like taken me to it. You can drive yourself to radiation. I just can't because I haven't been cleared from my arm yet. So that's the only reason why I don't drive myself. But I go out to lunch, and then it's about an hour and a half after I've finished radiation that you can tell, like, all my friends are like, ooh, you're fading. It's time to get you home. And I have to go home and take a nap. So being tired is definitely a side effect. And if you're a person who gets tired from like your chemo or whatever, chances are you're going to get tired from your radiation too. Next week, it'll be interesting because I'll have radiation and chemo going at the same time. So I don't know how long that nap's going to be. That might be a really long nap. What to wear. Mine, is on my arm. So I don't have to change into a gown as long as I can wear something where they can get to my arm. It's not a big deal. But it depends on where you're having your, radiation. There's lots of people who, whenever we sit in what's called the on-deck radiation waiting room, who have to wear gowns because, you can't get to wherever theirs is without disrobing. But for mine, it's no big deal. I just wear usually exercise clothes, and I go in there, we pull over, like I showed you on my arm, and they do the therapy there. So for me, it's not a big deal, but definitely wear something comfortable if you don't have to, and loose fitting too, if you don't have to change into a gown, because that will help you, and it's just makes, whenever they're lining you up, it just makes it quicker, is what I've found. So far, that's how my radiation's been. And tomorrow, I get to go back and meet with the surgeon who put the rod in my arm. So I'll give you an update on how that goes. And I'm going to talk to the residents and tell them what I thought of how they did. So I'll tell you about that too. And that's about it though. So everybody be strong and stay positive, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.